and
Oddworld.
Hey oddballs, I'm your host Jensen, and welcome to episode 171. Alright, we're jumping right in and we're getting back into the psychic book, so here we go. It's
Lesson time.
Today's psychic lesson is, can you identify your belief? If you do not have an organized religion, what or whom do you believe in? Do you believe that there is a divinity somewhere in the universe? Do you believe that you have a soul? Do you believe in the powers of good and evil? Do you believe that you have a purpose in life? Can you define your belief in your own words? Take a few moments to consider your answers. How would you explain your belief to anyone else? How comfortable are you defining your belief? Do you believe in miracles? And if you do, how often are you aware of them happening around you? Are you aware of them daily or only occasionally? Remember that it's okay not to have definite answers for these questions. These questions are merely here to help you become aware of and work toward identifying your belief. Your belief is already inside you. You were born with it, and all of your actions and thoughts are either in tune with it or not. Here are some further questions to think about in terms of your belief. Do you rely on angels, saints, or other beings to work their good? Do you look to something to protect you from both the known and the unknown? Can you turn there when you are faced with an unknown fear? Do you communicate with your belief on a daily basis? Just when you remember to, or only times when you are asking for something? Do you feel that you and this higher power are compatible and in tune with each other, or do you feel as if you are in conflict? Here is an exercise to help contemplate your belief. If you choose to try it, take a few moments to get comfortable. Then allow yourself to take a deep breath, exhale, and relax. You may count yourself down from 5 to 0 and feel yourself connected to your inner guidance system. Each time you relax, it is always different, sometimes in a deep focus and sometimes not. As you count yourself down, you may suggest that with each count, you will feel more and more relaxed and in tune with your third eye and your inner guidance system. You may allow yourself to feel a connection to your belief, whether you know exactly what it is or not. If you still feel unsure, then allow yourself to be open to the positive flow of the universe. When you reach 0, give yourself some time to feel a positive connection to your belief. If you have concerns for yourself or others, or for the development of your psychic gifts, you may turn them over to your belief for the resolution and guidance. After you have spent some time contemplating your belief, you may take a deep breath, exhale, and count yourself slowly upward to 5 and the surface of your mind. When you get back to 5, take another deep breath, exhale, and come back to your conscious mind. It is okay to include this communication in your daily relaxation exercises. Okay, so I was just talking to my mom about this the other day, and I was just telling her, I don't really have, a set belief type of thing. I just believe in good and bad energies. So, this exercise could really help me because I don't really have, a set religion. I grew up with a religion, but, I've always kind of just been questioning. I kind of right now am, at a place where it's just I believe in good and bad because I'm open to all the other ideas of religion because there are so many in this world. And at the end of the day, most of them kind of believe in good and bad. So it's kind of where I'm at right now. But anyhow, I'm curious as to what you guys think and what belief you have. And let's go ahead and move on to stories.
This comes from Majestic Royal 3169 on Reddit.
In 2018, I was in a devastating car accident. There were 4 of us in the car going nearly 100 miles per hour when we lost control and slammed into a cinder block wall. The sound was like the world itself tearing apart. Metal twisted, glass shattered, bodies crashed forward. The wreck was so bad that helicopters came and lifted each of us to different hospitals across the state. None of us ended up in the same place. 2 of us survived, but the other 2 weren't the same after. My best friend was paralyzed from the chest down, and another friend's brain was so badly damaged from the impact that his mind stayed at the level of a toddler. They were alive, but neither of them walked away whole. Not physically or mentally. And me? I should have died. The strange part is, I never wore a seatbelt. Not once. But that night, maybe 2 minutes before the crash, I buckled mine. I can't explain why I did it. That seatbelt was the only reason I survived. Even so, I was badly injured. My hip was broken. My jaw was shattered so severely that surgeons wired it shut. For weeks, I couldn't eat anything solid. I survived on liquids, drinking through a straw. On top of that, I was stuck in a wheelchair for a month, learning patience the hard way. And then there were burns on my arm and knee from being trapped in the car as it caught fire. The heat licked at me, searing my skin, until rescuers managed to put the flames out and pull me free. Recovery was brutal. My body hurt. My spirit was exhausted, but I was alive. When I finally came to the hospital, my family told me flat out that the seatbelt saved me, and I knew instantly I hadn't buckled it on my own. Here's why. In 1998, 20 years before my wreck, my dad's sister, my Aunt Wendy, died in a car accident. She was under the influence, just like I was that night. The thing is, I never met her. She was gone before I was born. But I've always carried her story because my dad carried the pain of losing her. Lying there in the hospital bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that Wendy had been with me in that car. Maybe she knew my dad could handle the pain of losing his sister, but not bearing his own child. Maybe she stepped in because she knew it wasn't my time. Maybe she whispered in my ear. Maybe she guided my hand. Or maybe she buckled the seatbelt herself. Why did I put my seatbelt on that night when I've never bothered before? Was it pure luck? Or was there someone sitting there in the car with me? Could it have been my Aunt Wendy, the aunt I had never had a chance to meet, reaching in at just the right moment to keep me here? Okay, first of all, so glad that you are okay, because this whole thing is just freaking wild. I mean, seriously, what if it was your aunt coming to your rescue, quite literally? And also kind of being like, oh, no, this happened to me. I cannot let this happen to you. Because what are the odds that you're a person who doesn't wear your seatbelt and then all of a sudden your seatbelt's on and that's the thing that saves you? I mean, I've heard before that spirits know when things are going to happen type of thing. I mean, that's kind of why you get people who can talk to spirits, who can kind of predict things, or like, I don't know. I don't even really know. I feel like I'm making shit up, but I feel like I've heard that before. But I feel like your aunt was with you this night, because what are the odds that she was in a fatal car accident and that literally was going to be you? You were both under the influence, and it's just wild. I feel like people are more susceptible when they are under the influence of anything to experience this happening, because you're already kind of like, we'll just say loose. Your mind is a little more loose and you don't necessarily have your guard up And so I feel like it's easier to kind of reach through the veil and vice versa to you. So maybe your aunt was just like, hey, you got to get your seatbelt on. This is going to be bad. And maybe you didn't actually hear her, which, I mean, obviously you're just asking questions. So maybe she was just telling you kind of in your brain type of thing, or I don't really know how any of that works, but I find it odd that it was 20 years later and you both were in the same situation. And honestly, thank God that your aunt was potentially there. And really at the end of the day, thank God you put your seatbelt on for whatever reason. But like, it's really weird because what are the odds? I guess, yeah, what are the odds? But if you guys have any comments for this, let me know. And let's go ahead and move on to the next story.
This comes from gggirlkiekie on Reddit.
So, one time I came out of the downstairs bathroom. The storage room is right by it. It was also where the laundry chute leads down to. So one time when I was home alone, I went to the bathroom. But when I walked out, the storage room door was open. It was not open when I went in. And the thing is, the storage room is the same room that I played a ritual game in with my friends, like the stupid kids we were. It also wasn't just that encounter either. Whenever I go into the room, I always feel some kind of presence. I've seen the same door cracked open on a few separate occasions too, but I don't know if a member of my family opened it or not. The only time I was sure that it opened by itself was that one time. Also, if I ever look into the room while the lights are off, I feel like I see something move. Okay, so this one cracks me up, and here's why. When my sister was younger, she did some kind of little ritual game thing that she got from the Scholastic book fair, oddly enough. And she did that in her bedroom, but nobody knew that until she was older, and we were trying to figure out why her room was the spookiest room in the entire house. For those of you who don't know, I basically grew up in a haunted house. Now, her room was legitimately the scariest. I've heard growling in there. It's just a darker feeling in there. It's weird, okay? Now, my mom still lives in this house, and my sister's room has since been updated and repainted and everything. It just feels better in there. I don't know how to explain that, but it just feels so much better in there. And maybe because this energy that was in there wasn't actually anything, it was just the fear of the ritual. How do I explain that? It's kind of like you are so afraid of doing something that you manifest something happening, but that also may not be the case because this energy that was in my sister's room kind of lingered for years and years and years, but we've never really paid it any attention, and I feel like it just kind of has gone away. Now, this, on the other hand, is very similar, I feel like, to that. I don't know if the energy feels negative to you or not, or if it just feels like an energy. And I don't know what this ritual game is that kids are playing. I mean, the most I ever did was play with a Ouija board, but I didn't open portals or things like that. And I'm not saying what you did was bad. I'm just saying I can actually relate to this one a little bit. I guess my sister could really more, but I think there is probably some kind of energy that you will just say released into that room, and you need to clean it up. You could easily cleanse the space with some Palo Santo and call it a day, or whatever your belief is. I would do that. This sounds silly, but this seems very innocent, yet it is scary. It seems innocent. And if you can cleanse the space and give it no attention, it should hopefully go away. But I wouldn't be doing any more rituals unless you have an idea of what you're doing. Granted, I understand you were a child and it just happens. It happens. So basically, yeah, I would just cleanse the space, pay it no attention, and hopefully it'll go away. But anyhow, if you guys have any ideas of how to remove this or any comments for this story, let me know below. If you have a story like either story today or any paranormal story in general, head on over to my website. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and well, It's an odd world after all. Oddballs, thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave 5 stars or thumbs up on whatever podcast platform you listen on. If you have any comments for this episode, comment below or head over to Instagram and comment on this episode's preview. To submit a story or for more information, go to itsanoddworldafterall.com.